Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian bringing you a Thunderhawk dropship for our Unhallowed Chaos Space Marines. This is the Thunderhawk for them. It's disgusting, it's covered in demon stuff and it's horrible and nasty. Unlike my glorious Space Marine one, which is awesome and clean and nice and has proper writing all over it in Gothic, whereas this has writing all over it in Slanesh. I haven't got a clue what it says, but I'm reliably informed that if I translated it, it would be rude. So this is the ship. It has nice writing all over it. Quite a few veins coming out around. This is the disgusting part with where it's begun to be infected by chaos, and you've got sort of Slaneshic type stuff happening to it. There's also a few different Slaneshic things happening around the ship. So we have a Space Marine, an Imperial Fist. You've noticed a theme with all of our Unhallowed is it tends to be the Imperial Fist that they are based with. There's one of her chapter masters is actually strangling a Space Marine to death, and we've got Space Marines on the vehicles as well. So on the other side we have another errant Space Marine who's bought it. He's hanging off and he's had a really bad day. And even more demonic writing. You can see the original emblem just there. We have the original emblem of the chapter is there. That's how it went. And of course they've painted over the original emblem with a teardrop to take away the Emperor's tear. So that's the theme of the army. And I'll just it's on a simple flying standard. I'm using cake, the things that you hold cakes up with, and they slot into the base of the model, and so you can actually change the height depending on the width of the sticks. A collection of sticks here. They're plastic sticks. They are for cakes. And there are all sorts of different lengths, and so you can modulate the height of the vehicle by which size stick you use. Main reason I did that is the weight makes it quite hard to make a base for, to make it stable, and also the base tends to get in the way, and this is a flyer and we don't want it to get in the way, so we can actually have it flying over the troops rather than sort of stuck in one place, rather than the base taking up all the room. So you can put it over buildings and things like that. So that's why we did that. So that's it. That's our Thunderhawk. The gun's not properly finished yet. The main gun is just a placeholder. I'm going to replace all the guns on it with proper guns. So at the moment it's just got placeholders on it. I think the only one I've actually finished is the Space Wolves one. Off the top of my head, but don't worry about it. It's that's as it comes. It'll change over time as I upgrade it. So what can I say about a Thunderhawk? Probably the first flyer we ever had, actually. So the Thunderhawk is pretty good. It's got twin heavy bolters, so it fires 6 shots. The old twin rule was that you got a +1 to firing, I believe. It was either +1 to firing or reroll if you miss. Nowadays twin weapons fire twice. So twin heavy bolter will fire 6 shots instead of 3 because it's twin. That's new 8th edition rules, not 7th edition rules. 7th edition rules it would fire 3 shots but get a +1 to accuracy, I think. That's 7th edition. Plus it's got 2 las cannons mounted under the wing mounts, and it's got a heavy battle cannon mounted on the top. You can also have a laser if you want. That's a pretty good weapon. That's 48-inch range, heavy 2d6, strength 8. That's actually a really good weapon, and it's good. It's good. Not exactly a Titan killer, that's what the laser cannon's for, but this is best for the sort of games we play. Also carries Hellfire missiles under the wings, which Hellfire, they're okay. They're okay. What else have we got? It's a flyer, so you -1 to hit if it's flying. You add 12 inches to your range when you're firing at it, and you also -1 to your hit roll. So you're increasing the range it's flying at and all that sort of stuff. It's got a void shield, which is totally awesome. 5+ invulnerability save. I think that's the same as a Land Raider. It has the ability to hover rather than move, which is even cooler. Some flyers, you're kind of stuck to having them zoom around the table all the time, and it can be annoying. So hovering's handy, especially if you're using a building for cover, which you can do. And you have Machine Spirit. So the craft does not suffer from movement penalties when firing weapons. So that's pretty good and handy, because you're a flyer and you won't be able to hit anything if you did. It can carry 30 infantry. However, Terminators and jump pack troops count as 2, so you can only carry 15 jump pack troops. Why you would have jump pack troops in a dropship, I don't know, but that's one of the downsides. Also, if you have Primaris Marines, now we have no Chaos Primaris Marines at the moment. I have heard rumblings that they may be an option for Chaos in the future, but not at the moment. There are no rules for them. But that being said, I'm sure you could end up with Primaris Chaos Marines, because Primaris are relatively as easily fall to Chaos as anybody else. And I know people might disagree with that because they have special genes and 3 extra implants. But when you look at the Primaris, the Space Wolves Primaris, the Blood Angels Primaris, and various others, some of them can be a little bit wayward, and the Space Wolf Primaris can turn into wolves, and the Blood Angels can turn into vampires. So technically Primaris can still turn traitor, especially if they come from the stock of the original traitor Marines, which it would appear Mr. Call actually has done. He may have actually used the Lunar Wolves and the other original gene seeds to create some of his troops, which is an interesting one. But that's all into 40k lore, don't worry about it now, it's not important. So this is it. It will put you back 750, 795 I think, which is quite expensive, even though all it is really is a dropship and a few decent guns. You're probably best off investing in a couple of Land Raiders, really, rather than something like this. But we wanted a flyer for each of our armies, mainly so we could use them for plot. So we won't necessarily always be using the model as an actual gaming tool. It won't actually be a Thunderhawk. It's a model which the troops have to retreat to or defend or whatever. All of the flyers that we've got, we're really using them mostly. We're not using them in game. We're just using them as a MacGuffin for the actual games we're playing. So it's a dropship. But you won't be normally using it unless it's actually taken as a choice. The player won't be able to use it as an actual flying machine. It's just there to look good and be part of the plot line of the campaigns that we've got lined up to play. So that's about that. Technically it gets to attack first because it's dedicated to Slanesh. Does he? I suppose you could ram your enemy and attack the Aegis first. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm not really sure how it works with vehicles, and I've not read anything about it, so I'm assuming it's useless. And it does take up that heavy support choice slot rather than a fast attack slot. The originals were elites, so that took up an elite slot. This takes up a heavy support slot, which is logical, even though it's a flyer. It's logical because it's heavy. And Slanesh does have a lot of spare slots for heavy support. Not so much Cord. Cord, no, they're fine when it comes to heavy support. They need extra slots. Whereas Slanesh, this just fits up that heavy support slot if you need to. And it's pretty cool. I like dropships. I love the Thunderhawk. It's one of my all-time favourites. I like the Stormbird better. But back when I was playing 40k, there wasn't even a Stormbird available. There was a mock-up of one in one of the Games Workshop magazines, and that was about it. You had no options. You just had the Thunderhawk. But I have got a Storm Raven, is it called? The smaller version of the Stormbird. That's a gunship for my Imperial Fists. I'll do a video on that later. And we're still working on the Stormbird, because it's a long story. But I was really wanting a Stormbird for my Space Wolves, but we've ended up that's gonna be for Nurgle instead, due to plot mainly. But I could always come up with another one later on. So that's about it. That's our video on the Dropship. I will put a load of pictures and stuff at the end, a gallery at the end for you, with lots of close-ups and pictures of it and stuff. If you can decipher the writing, good luck. And thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. If you think you're subscribed, just check, because you might not be. And you can subscribe again. Leave any comments, share the video, and thank you very much for holding on with me this long. If you can hear the loud droning noise, that is the glorious boys in the RAF buzzing our house again, because that's all they seem to do these days. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.